I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, March 13th, brought to you in part by YTEX Tags. The fear-mongering over the COVID-19 or the coronavirus has hit its peak here mid to late week this week, and even though our medical professionals tell us that there's a 99% chance that we're not going to get it, even if we do get it, a lot of people that are middle-aged, that are younger than elderly, not even going to notice that they have it. If those that do get it and have it, there's still an 80% chance that they'll survive. It's a bad deal. Yeah, it's scary, but I tell you what, they've just gone overboard on this, and just it's unbelievable what we've done here. The president come out late on Wednesday night there and announced that he has banned most travel from Europe. So that's going to stop all that from coming in. The CME group has decided to close the trading floor until further notice. The NBA has suspended their season until further notice. Most of your colleges and universities have recommended that they do the rest of the semester online or something like that. They're not going to hold classes. It's unbelievable. One that's impacted the ag community, the livestock community a lot, is the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, the largest stock show and rodeo in the world. Decided to cancel the rest of the events. They had already started the rodeo. They had already had several shows. Impacted my life, which is surely no bigger than anybody else's, but traveling out here in California, was planning on getting back on Friday late, loading up the kids, loading up the pigs in the show boxes, and headed for Houston to go down there and show the pigs that the kids have been feeding for the last 4 or 5 months and taking care of. All that's canceled. I'm sure glad I didn't have a $100,000 show steer. But it's just, there's tens of thousands of volunteers. There's tens of thousands of exhibitors and competitors, and hundreds of thousands of spectators that enjoy that event every year, and it's been canceled now. And, that really hits home. And, I hate to say it, but there's almost a feeling out there, and a lot of these cancellations and the bigger ones that we see are being decided upon by leftist leaders. And it's almost a feeling out there that they're using this as a ploy to try to get back at Trump. You hear him talking all the time, saying that he's not doing enough. He suspended travel from China weeks ago. He's now suspended travel from Europe. And, I don't know what else he could do. I don't know what he's supposed to do, come around and start taking everybody's temperature or what. But it just feels like that they're using that as a ploy to try to get at Trump and make it look like his fault, when we know for a fact that it didn't start over here, and pretty much taking every precaution but shutting things down completely to try to get it stopped. But he has implemented an economic stimulus package that's about to set in to try to help working people, and some tax relief on that. The publicly traded markets are sure waiting for that to happen, but we really took a beating on this, and the cattle market as much or more than most publicly traded markets. And if we look at our futures market for Wednesday, April live cattle futures down 237 at 103.07. Now, all the rest of your traded months on live cattle futures have made life of contract lows on Wednesday. June was down 227 at 97 and a quarter. All your other out front traded months on live cattle futures down the $3 limit. March feeder cattle down $4.42 at 123.32. April down $4.42 at 123.52. All the rest of them down the $4.50 limit. Your fat cattle trade, of course, was lower, but the heck of it was they traded at $1.10, which we kind of heard a little sprinkling of that. We didn't really establish a market earlier in the week on that. We did at 175 dress, but $110 predominantly through most all your major feeding areas. That's $3 lower. That actually supports things because your spot live cattle futures market is 103. So guys are getting to stick $7 in their pockets. If they add that to the 110, that's 117. That's better than they were selling cattle a couple of weeks ago. But the bad thing about doing that is all the time we're just losing market position and losing market position, and for the guys that aren't hedged up, it's just taking their head off completely. You look at some more confirmed sales on Wednesday. Iowa about 10,200 head, mostly at 110 and mostly at 175, which we said earlier in the week that's $5 to $6 lower dressed. Nebraska 14,200 head confirmed. Same deal, mostly 110 and 175. Kansas sold 17,400. Texas 6,200, all at that $110. And man, it didn't seem very long ago that we were at 120 because it wasn't very long ago, but we've lost a ton of market position, and we haven't even got to our heavy supplies of market-ready cattle, and when the show lists are going to explode. And man, if this thing doesn't blow over and we don't start getting some market position back before we get into those heavier supplies of market-ready cattle, it's hard telling how cheap this thing could get. Box beef cutout values, of course, they've been kind of holding their own all through this whole deal. It's amazing how your packers can keep the product that they sell at a fairly high level, but kind of mixed to lower on select on Wednesday. Your choice cuts 207.17. They've been loitering around there for quite a while. That was actually up 8 cents. Selects falling off 196.49, down $2.22 for a sizable choice select spread that's getting wider now at $10.68. Out here in Northern California, doing several speaking events at some long range, a warmer product by Boehringer Ingelheim, long range talks that we're having out here, and getting to meet a lot of good people, and I just amazed at this Northern California country. There's a lot of open grass country out here. There's some ranchy kind of country, some big rolling hills that I didn't believe they had. Probably the biggest thing that surprised me, and the biggest thing that's kind of disappointing out here, is the walnut and almond trees have just about taken over. There's a lot of money to be made in those, and man, they've got a ton of walnut and almond trees out here, and there a lot of them are brand new, just planted, and I guess they think there's a lot of future in that, but it is eating up the country up here. But I was at a talk on Wednesday at Rio Vista, California. Had a good crowd there, represented a lot of stocker cattle and cow-calf producers too. Of course, we get together, cattle guys, and what do? We talk about the market, and we talk about the things that are affecting the market, and nobody could really think of anything that was too uplifting to talk about. And one in the group said, well, surely there's got to be something that's happened that was kind of positive, and somebody said, well, last Friday on the Western Video Market video sale there, they featured some lambs on there, and they don't normally sell a lot of lambs on there, but they had a big consignment of lambs on last week's sale on Western Video Market. They sold 1,350 head of Pete and Beth Swanson's lambs there near Stockton, California, to weigh 110 pounds for current March delivery. Those 110-pound lambs, 1,350 of them, bring $198.50. You guys hadn't heard, this lamb deal's been pretty good all of a sudden, and everybody was thinking, wow, what a price on those lambs. And then legendary icon in the cattle business, Ellington Peak, was there, and he said, well, the reason they were able to do that good is they don't have lamb futures, and so nobody that's outside the industry were able to kill the market on that. So we can kind of hold the lamb deal together, but maybe we'll have to call this the lamb feeder flash someday. But normally there's not a lot of competition in the lamb market, but it's been pretty good, and like I said, not a lot of outside things that can affect the price on those. The next Western Video Market sale will be April the 15th, and so you guys need to hurry up and get your consignments in if you want to sell on that sale, and you buyers need to put it down on your calendar too. Look at your feeder cattle market. Your big sales on Wednesday. Of course, the biggest, OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 6,800 head, and guys knew it was going to be a bloodbath when they hauled them in there. Even though some markets have been higher, we had a higher futures market on Tuesday, which was kind of a recoil from the big downer on Monday. But if you paid attention to the news, you knew that this overwhelming negative news from this COVID-19 was going to continue to hurt the market. The overnights on the futures were down hard, or on the futures for stock market were down hard. Of course, it was down hard, but El Reno sold feeder cattle $4 to $10 lower, as much as $12 lower on your heaviest weight feeders. The calves on Tuesday were $4 to $8 lower. Kind of a good test of the market, and one of the better quotes that they had. This gives you an idea of what cattle are worth. 206 head of 754 pound steers bring 132. Dodge City, Kansas, winter livestock, 2,200 head there at Dodge City. And I got to apologize to John Campbell because I quoted his market on the previous day's feeder flash out of La Junta, Colorado. And I said he had over 5,000. I pulled that market, and I didn't realize they weren't done yet. They had over 7,000 head at La Junta, Colorado, at winter livestock on Tuesday's sale. But Dodge City, Kansas, 2,200 head. Feeder steers, $10 to $15 lower. Feeder heifers, $2 to $10 lower, and the biggest losses on your heaviest weight heifers. Calves steady to $2 lower in a light test. You'd look at some quotes, big-time quotes that are not real impressive, but that's kind of where we're at. Stockman's Livestock, Yankton, South Dakota, 123 head of big steers weighed 995 at 123.50. That's pretty impressive. That would have been an impressive quote weeks ago, but nearly 1,000 pounds at 123.50. Twin Falls, Idaho. Talked to Jake Billington there. He told me about a load of replacement quality heifers there, blacks and black baldies. Good cattle there. 59 head of heifers, weighed 797 and 119. In Torrington, Wyoming, Torrington Livestock Market, 74 head of stocker steers weighing 540 pounds at $180. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.